Hi, good morning.
This is Abdulla Marzooqi, Consul General, United Arab Emirates. I welcome all of you. So I would like to welcome, thank and extend my great thanks and gratitude for everybody. First of all, I'd like to thank Mr. Manpreet, President, also Excellency Ahmed Al-Falahi, our commercial attaché, and I would like to welcome all of you in this meeting. I don't know if my voice is clear or not.
Yes, Your Excellency, your voice is loud and clear. Welcome.
Thank you so much. Assalamu alaikum, Mr. Ahmed. How are you?
Walaikum
Your
salam,
Excellency,
Your
before
Excellency.
beginning, I have one request.
Yes.
If we can play the national anthem of both the countries and begin with a very good note.
Thank you so much. This is so kind from you.
Just a
Thank you very much. Mr. President, thank you so much for allowing me to have this virtual meeting. As I mentioned earlier, I would like to thank and extend my great gratitude for everybody. If somebody was not from the beginning listening, this is Abdulla Marzooqi, Consul General of United Arab Emirates in Mumbai. I already mentioned that. Thank you very much for everybody. They will participate with us, Excellency Ahmed Al-Falahi, our attaché, economics and commercial attaché in our embassy in New Delhi. I would like to thank him honestly because he's in vacation in UAE, so we interrupted him. We called him to attend this meeting upon request. Mr. President here, so the mic with you.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. We would like to now begin with the formal session. And I would like to welcome everybody today to this session between India and UAE, the Trade and Investment Meet. It is a great honor for me to be part of this session, especially when the relations between both the countries is not decades old, but centuries old, if I may say so. It has been many decades of relationships between UAE and India, let it be for culture, business, investment, growth, and it has only been increasing with time. The development of both the countries has been interdependent on each other and lot of closer interactions. Not only this, I think it is imperative to say that I think especially the city of Mumbai is like a sister city to the city of Dubai. And most of the people have either relatives settled in either of these cities or they have business interests since many years. So it is a great opportunity where we can help everybody and we can expand the horizons and grow in this changed realities. I think now is the time where we have to actually grow with each other, supporting each other, and looking forward to increasing these relationships, let it be by means of trade, bilateral investments, and a lot of other things.
Mr. President, allow me to say one more thing. I think the voice not clearly, we cannot hear it clearly here. I mean, I hear your voice when you are talking, but not clear.
Voice is echoing actually.
Yes, there is like.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I hear you now.
Okay, once again, just
it became interrupting things in the voice in between.
Okay, am I audible now?
Yes.
So echo sorted out?
Yes, it's perfect.
Hopefully, let's continue. We'll see, inshallah.
Okay, thank you so much. So I would like to welcome all of you all to this lovely session, and I would like to thank the UAE Consulate in Mumbai and also the UAE Embassy in New Delhi, with whose support this event would not have been possible. I would like to really thank all our partners that are there today and our team, and that has been instrumental to getting this event together. And I would like to once again wish everybody present here today a very good start in either UAE or India. And this will be a new beginning for the industrialists of both the countries. So with this, I would like to open up today's session. And I would like to invite His Excellency Abdulla Husein Al Marzooqi for the opening address. Welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much for your nice words. Also, I welcome everybody on this one. I would like also to the mic for Excellency Ahmed Al Falahi, our commercial attaché, to introduce himself for us and give us points about our subjects that we are going to talk about.
Well, good afternoon and namaste, Your Excellency, Mr. President. Thank you for arranging this meeting. Fellow panelists, ladies and gentlemen, before I begin, I would like to reiterate the UAE stands in solidarity with India amidst the resurgence of COVID-19 cases and the challenging health situation in the country. Thankfully, you know, it's going down. It's as fast as it went up. It's coming down, you know, just as fast, which is good news. I would also like to take a moment to thank Mr. Manpreet Singh, President, Indian Chamber of International Business, for organizing the virtual investment and trade meet at such a challenging time. Our presence today is a testament of our shared commitment and optimism in overcoming the health crisis situation together. Over the course of today's interaction, I hope to constructively engage, exchange ideas, and foster new, meaningful partnerships between our friendly countries. COVID-19 has altered the dynamics of the global economic ecosystem. The pandemic has triggered the largest economic shockwave felt across the globe since the Great Depression. To effectively tackle a health and economic crisis of such magnitude, the world requires a new kind of approach, one that cultivates cooperation and not isolation amongst the stakeholders. The partnership between UAE and India exemplifies exactly the same. The India-UAE Comprehensive Strategic Partnership has truly emerged stronger since the start of the COVID pandemic, and we stand stronger together. Even during these unprecedented times, there were several high-level ministerial visits and numerous virtual exchanges between the leadership of both our countries. Concerted efforts were made by UAE and India to minimize the supply chain disruption between both the countries. I am pleased to share that vital supplies of food, medicine, and energy needs were met with ease despite all the challenges. India was there for us when we needed it, and UAE was there for India when India needed it. Trade and investment has been the cornerstone of our multifaceted bilateral partnership, driven by mutual interests, close people-to-people contact, and the common desire to grow together. As per the latest trade statistics, UAE stood as India's third largest trade partner for the 8th consecutive year in the financial year 2020-2021. And, you know, that's not a small feat, since number 2 and number 1 are USA and China. And our trade balance with India is quite balanced out. There's not much deficit. One, you know, a year it's towards India, a year it's towards UAE. So that's what we call a true partnership. The overall bilateral trade between UAE and India, the last figures, stood at about 43.3 billion US dollars. Yes, it went down, but we need to think of the COVID situation, and the whole world was locked out and trade routes were disconnected, literally. To put these numbers into perspective, in 2020-2021, UAE accounted for about half of India's total trade with the GCC countries, and 60% of India's overall exports to the GCC countries. Energy security has been the mainstay of our trade partnership. However, with changing dynamics, food security and health security show immense potential as the next focus areas of cooperation between both our countries. Let's shift our focus towards the investment. In terms of cumulative FDI equity flows, UAE stood as the 8th largest investor in India. For the last financial year, it witnessed a quantum jump in investments from Gulf countries, both from sovereign wealth funds and from corporate investments into India. The FDI equity flows from UAE into India increased. Someone has his mic on, please. It's really disturbing. The TV or news or something is on.
Excellency, we muted everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. The FDI equity flows from UAE into India increased by a whopping 1,100% over the last 1 year. From what was the year before, from the previous year of around 339 million US dollars to 4.2 billion US dollars in the last financial year. I am sure these numbers speak volumes of our confidence in India's growth story and in the people of India and the nation of India. COVID-19, while posing many challenges for countries, has also unlocked doors for fast-paced strategic thinking and innovative countermeasures. The UAE, I am sure most of you would agree with me, has been a beacon of innovation and inspiration. The visionary thinking of our leaders has always placed UAE ahead of the curve. UAE has shown its resilience during one of the most challenging economic times and has emerged a preferred investment destination. For the record, the UAE recorded a 44.2% jump in foreign direct investment in 2020. which is at a sum of 20 billion US dollars. So as you can see, we are strategically linked. Even when India's FDI grows, UAE FDI inflows grow. So that makes sense of our strategic partnership and how the world view us. Keep in mind in 2020, these numbers are when in 2020, the global foreign FDI flows collapsed, falling 42% according to the latest UNCTAD data. Globally, as businesses show their confidence in the UAE economy, forward-looking policies such as the golden visas, retirement visas, and full foreign ownership in the mainland will go a long way in further augmenting the investor confidence. The recent changes in the foreign ownership policies, coupled with the country's thrust towards attracting global talent, the UAE is poised to strengthen its position as a global trade and investment destination. In the post-COVID-19 world, a significant number of companies shall adopt a more global outlook, focus on enhancing cost efficiency, and strive for diversification and exploring newer markets, especially when it comes to the regional connectivity and the regional markets. Those will benefit more in my view, in the next couple of years. And then, the whole connected supply chain globally would also be boosted. In 2017, now we'll shift a bit towards the renewable energy as well, since it's one of the topics in here. In 2017, the UAE launched the Energy Strategy 2050, which is considered the first unified energy strategy in the country. And it's based on supply and demand. And the targets of that Energy Strategy 2050 is an energy mix that combines renewable nuclear and clean energy sources to meet the UAE's economic requirements and environmental goals as follows. 44% of that would be clean energy, 38% would be from gas, 12% would be from clean coal. When you hear the word coal, you say, that's very polluting, but the technology has evolved so far that there is actually clean coal with the right scrubbers and the right new plants installed. 6% would be from nuclear, which the UAE has already is constructing, constructed 4 nuclear plants, and the first one is already supplying power to the UAE. And that supply has started to happen during the COVID situation. So we have never stopped. The UAE government aims to invest 600 billion by 2050 to meet the growing energy demand and ensure a sustainable growth for the country's economy. I strongly believe that the time is ripe, now more than ever, for Indian businesses to step into the UAE and leverage from its strategic location. Well-developed infrastructure, excellent connectivity, stable political system, investor-friendly policies, and overall ease of doing business, as well as when you come to the construction side, building materials, construction side, UAE is still building and moving. When people said, for example, Expo 2020, okay, what will UAE do, or Dubai specifically do after Expo 2020? We told them after Expo 2020, Dubai always tries to do something bigger and, dazzle the world even further. And now it's not only Dubai, it's the whole UAE. You've got Abu Dhabi, Sharjah, Ajman, Al Gaywain, Ras Al Khaimah, Fujairah. They're all, going forward with many different strategies of development. Plus, the UAE has always been a center of rebuilding nations in the region. If it's in Africa, if it's, devastations that hit certain friendly countries from wars, from natural calamity, the UAE was always the hub that people come to buy their building material and to find the construction companies to come forward and start rebuilding. Together we are poised to usher in a new era of partnership. It is my firm belief that this multifaceted and time-tested partnership is set to achieve greater heights and lead the world by example in the post-COVID era. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Excellency Ahmed, for this nice briefing and nice points that you've been mentioned. The mic will go with Mr. Manpreet, please.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I mean, it is the information that you shared with us. I'm sure that many of us would have been knowing it, but ignoring it for a while. And I would like to thank His Excellency Ahmed Al-Fai for reminding us the strengths of UAE, especially, you mentioned regarding the energy self-sufficiency that is being targeted. And we all know that how UAE has grown phenomenally. You can't even talk in terms of double-digit growth or triple-digit growth. It's much more. And I talk myself from my personal experience. I've been in UAE for 10 years. And from 2002, 2003 onwards. So I have actually seen UAE grow from a little bit to huge growth, phenomenal growth. And the leadership of the country is such that they want to do things differently. So this is something that I want to tell everybody that is here today, that you get a chance to get access to an ecosystem where you are free to do what you want and how you want to do it. So this is one thing that I want to remind all the people that are here. That being said, today we are focusing on a lot of specialized sectors. Specialized sectors, as in I would like to talk about renewable energy, construction materials, infrastructure, pharmaceutical and health related, healthcare, hospitality, food and food processing. These are some of the industries that are going to be in focus for the next few years. And the growth is, like I said, it's going to be multi-fold and not single and double digits. So I think it is for all of us to think and diversify and expand our horizons. Being the president of ICIB, we've been here for a few decades, and we are getting to listen to, this sector is not doing well and that sector is not doing well. But simultaneously, we have a lot of people who have been established in these not so doing well sectors, changed their geographies, expanded, diversified, and they are doing phenomenal. So I would like to always say, change is the only constant. I would like to advise everybody to grow, to expand, to look at different horizons, and which better place than UAE with such freedom to work and to be yourself and expand, especially in all these sectors. And with this, I would like to also highlight that these are the sectors that are going to be in the coming times, not only for the established companies, but also startups. Startup and innovation is something that the leadership in UAE has been focusing a lot. And so this is something that I would like to add to this conversation today, that if you feel that you are a startup or you are an innovating company and would like a place to set up and grow, and I think UAE is the place to be. That being said, the ecosystem in India for startups is such amazing in today's times that you can actually have investors from UAE coming here and funding startups which are working out of not even garages, but let's say small rooms and shacks out of slum areas. They are turning out to be phenomenal growers and growth stories that we have seen throughout the country. So if we put these two ecosystems together, the manpower and the effort that is put in by the Indian industry, Indian startups, and the strengths of UAE, the UAE investors, and the Indian investors for that matter, if we bring both these strengths together, this is something that will create a very different ecosystem and create something that is out of this world, resulting in growth for both the countries and both the ecosystem, both people from both the countries. Thank you so much. I would now like to invite Mr. Khushwant Singh Rao, who is the Executive Director for Varaha Infra Limited, and which is the company involved in infrastructure in India. And they would like to very brief about the Indian infrastructure market as an investment destination. Khushwant Singh ji, I would like to welcome you to today's session. Can you unmute yourself, Khushwant Singh ji?
No, I can't. Yeah. Yes, I can now. Yes. Thank you very much, sir, Mr. Singh. And I welcome His Excellency Abdulla Husein Al Marzooqi, the Consulate General of UAE in India, and His Excellency Ahmed Al Falahi, the UAE Commercial Attaché. And that was a very inspiring speech from both the dignitaries. And I can't be agreeing more to Mr. Ahmed Al Falahi that business, the best business between two countries is a business where both countries have a mutual benefit in it. So the trade deficit and everything speaks about the volume about itself. And if His Excellency allows me, I would like to share some slides of presentation which we have prepared for this meeting and all. And the admin, if they can allow me to share the presentation.
So we've granted the permission, you can share.
Thanks so much. So the today's focus will be on the Indian infrastructure, and basically I'll be explaining about something. A few slides will be about my company, what we are, and actually what we do. And thereafter, I'll take the participant, the dignitaries, and the participant to the Indian infrastructure sector also, where we can have an investment and what all opportunities are there. So a few slides about my company, that's Vara Infra Limited. My company was founded in the year 1970. So it's almost a 51-year-old company, and we are the third generation of the promoters in the company. And it was founded by my grandfather, then my father, and then we took over the reins. So it's a third generation company. So we are working pan-India wise in all the places in India and internationally also. So our USP is basically the quality, sustainability, and young fleet of machinery. So we spearhead the Indian infrastructure in recycling the existing road and everything. So the new technology, whatever it comes to India, so we are spearheading, and our name can be found in all the specification and standards of Indian road buildings. So in 2014-15, we were given this runner-up award for the best road contractor in India. The first being Shapoorji Pallonji. So yeah, so you can see the MD of our company was the elder brother, who is my elder brother, taking the awards and all. And in year 2015, my company represented the road sector in the Federation of Indian Chamber of Commerce and Industry in UAE, in the United States and Canada. So we are working, as I said, we are working all over India. And recently we have got a project in Myanmar also. It's a $180 million project. So it's just to give you an idea what my company is into and how much the work, the projects we are having and all. So it's quite a challenging project. So it's a transition highway which travels from India to Myanmar, and then it will be going to Thailand and all. So this is one or two slides about the green technology my company is using. So for a sustainable progress and environmental friendly technologies. So we have got all the big plants and machineries, whatever it is available in the world, and for the recycling process and all. We are having the highest crushing capacity in North India when it comes to crushing the stones and all for the road sector and all. So 1800 metric ton per hour. So we take proud of it that we are having the highest crushing capacity, which is the backbone for any construction segment. So I'll come to the Indian infrastructure sector now. So in the next 5 years, the Modi government, the Prime Minister, the government under Prime Minister Narendra Modi, so they are investing huge in Indian infrastructure sector. So about 1.05 trillion US dollar opportunities there for the investment and everything, which starts from road infrastructure to railways to water projects and all, irrigation projects and all. So here it is. So there is an opportunity in each and every sector, be it the railways also, the shipping, the electricity. And as you can see, this is the roadmap which the Indian government has prepared to invest in the next 5 years. It's about 1.05 trillion. So largest being in the electricity, then comes the telecommunication, roads, railway, irrigation. So apart from all the sectors where they want to invest and everything, so the major is in the infrastructure itself. The focus is in the infrastructure. So these are the area of investment and cooperation which anybody from the UAE or some company can do it in India. So that's road infrastructure. So there are various model in road infrastructure which are in the vogue now. So that's EPC, HAM, TOT, waterways. So waterways, a lot of projects are there, dam, hydro, major bridges. So India is having 4,500 dams in India. So that's the highest density anywhere in the world. And the present government wants to increase it to 9,000 dams, basically, just to double it within the span of 8 years. So that's a very ambitious target, and a lot of opportunities also there. Once again, wastewater treatment, as everybody must be aware that India is quite lacking behind the wastewater treatment and all. So that's also a focus of the Indian government. Railways also. So I'll come to the opportunities in Indian road infrastructure sector. So globally, India is ranking second in the terms of networking of the Indian highway and everything. 70% of our transportation is done through the roads, and that contributes to 6% of the GDP of India. And the present government wants to take it up to 11%. So that's why they are bringing they are constructing the express highways, the access controlled express highway, which can transport the material to and fro from one part of the country to the other. So many projects have already started from Delhi to Mumbai. It's an expressway of 8-lane, access controlled, and fully up to the mark of the international specifications and all. So definitely, so they have targeted 11% of GDP contribution through transportation. So it's a very good environment in India as of now for the construction of roads and highways and everything, because nowadays the problem which we were having in the past regarding right of way and everything, so that has also been taken care of in the new agreements and all, where the government is going to give us 90%, or say in some agreement it is 100% of the ROW before you start the construction. The banks have also opened up to give the funding and everything to the highway projects and all. So this is just a snapshot of the total investment, total expenditure of the government of India in year 2020-2021, basically. So as we can see, the infrastructure sector is having the highest investment in the priority in India. It's power sector, urban, road, and railways. So that is actually, these are only, we have captured only 5 to 6 major heads where the investment is taking place. And out of these, 4 are the infrastructure sector only. So these are some comparison between the world average, the GDP of the world, and the repo rates, the interest rates and everything on which the banks are lending the money to us. So the world average, as you can see here, it is 2.6% of GDP. And in India, it is 10.7. So it is increasing day by day. So in infrastructure, so it's like that. And so these are the repo rate, the interest rate, which is going down in the banking industry. By the this is the repo rate issued by Reserve Bank of India. So every year it is coming down. So the investment is quite easy for if somebody wants to do it in Indian sector. So a brief about the history of Indian road sector. So initially we were having the BOQ contracts that we call the cash contract. So you do the work, you take you build the work done, and then you get the money, and maintenance is done, and then the contract is over. So now it has been divided into a further more kind of models. So first is the annuity model, second is toll plus annuity, and the third one is the TOT, toll operate and transfer. So the EPC, as I just explained, it is like means we construct the road, we take the money of the work done, and then the maintenance is done. After 5 years, the agreement is over. And this is the hybrid annuity model, which is quite an interesting model actually, if somebody wants to invest, because it is basically dependent upon the cost of the funding which one can obtain from their bankers and all. So it's a kind of a model which is having a concession period of 15 years. So we have to build the road. Supposedly, if $100 is the cost of the road project, so 40% the government of India is going to invest, and 60% we have to either bring in like in terms of debt or equity. So, and after the completion of the project, every 6 months we will start getting some annuities based upon the interest rate what we have quoted in the bid, the tender. So the concession period is average in general 15 years. It varies from 15 to 20 years. And the IRR which we have noticed from last 4 years since the hybrid annuity project has been introduced in the market, it is somewhere around 15% IRR. So that's a very good return basis of this thing, the model, which is a preferred model in India as of now. The banks are also open. So we can invite if somebody is interested in the UAE, also some companies to invest in Indian road sector, so they can also invest in this model. So it's a very impressive and the most preferred model. Then comes the TOT model. So it is kind of a model in which many roads are bundled together, means 10 to 15 roads will be bundled together. The tolling and everything has already started some 6 years or maybe 10 years or something like that. So we have a history of the tolling, the revenue and all. So all the 10 road project will be bundled together, and then they will be giving it to the investors and the contractors and all. So what those people are going to do is like they are going to operate and manage the road. They are going to do the tolling and everything. That's the source of the revenue. And then we'll have to, in the bidding stage, we have to quote certain premium or grants to the government, so that we have to pay, or if we are quoting grant, then the government of India will give us the grant. So it's an established model. The toll revenue and everything is very established. From 6 to 10 years, the toll and everything is coming. So the revenue is by and large fixed. We know the revenues, what are the revenues, and according to that, we can bid upon this. So this is a very large kind of investment model. So it's having a concession period of generally ranging from 20 to 25 years. So the investment is a bit more in TOT rather than HAM. So this is another model. So as I said, the hybrid annuity model is quite advantageous and preferable in the Indian sector. If somebody wants to start with small investment, and if they want to invest in a bigger manner, then they can come to the TOT, the toll operate and transfer model. So these are some recent announcements the government of India has done. So the paper clipping of some recent announcement. So what the government of India intends to do, and what all they are planning to do in the infrastructure market. So these are some perspective of joint business investment and all. So as I said, there are many schemes of Indian government which were under which they were constructing the road and everything, and now they have collaborated all the schemes into one. That's Bharat Mala scheme. That's garland around India, basically. If we want to understand the meaning of it, so Bharat Mala scheme is there. And we being the 50-year-old company, and we have a presence all around India and everything, so we invite all the companies and all who want to invest in India, so for a joint venture partnership or something like that. So these are the mode of cooperation and all, as a JV partner and a formation of a representative office sharing the business values and all. So that is all from my side. If any questions are then I'll be quite happy to answer them.
Husein Singh ji, thank you so much. This kind of information is so informative and vast that it gives a detailed insight into the infrastructure sector of India, the possibilities to invest, the possibility for even small and medium companies that are there in this sector that can become a part of this initiative. You know, this shows the kind of growth possibilities that are there within India itself, let it be with partnership from UAE or from within India itself. So thank you, Kushwanji, once again. I request you to stay till the end in case there are any questions from the audience. Thank you so much. So with this, I would now like to invite somebody who would give a perspective from the other side of the spectrum, that is the Dubai Chamber of Commerce. So ICIB and the Dubai Chamber have been collaborating since a while to facilitate interaction between Indian businesses and UAE businesses since a while now. So I would now like to invite Mr. Samir Nawani, who's representing the Dubai Chamber of Commerce. Welcome, Samirji, to today's session. It's great to have you here.
Thank you, Manpreet. Thank you for putting together this wonderful session. It's a pleasure and delight to be here. His Excellency Abdulla, His Excellency Mr. Ahmad, it was a delight hearing you again, and it's always a pleasure being with the Indian businesses, interacting and engaging with them. Over the next 7 to 10 minutes, what I'll try and do is I'll try and bring some perspective based on our understanding of engagement with Indian businesses and what we see as the requirements that we have heard from Indian businesses. Give some highlights about what is happening in Dubai in those lines, and give some background about Dubai Chamber and what Dubai Chamber is doing and what to expect, and what should we be watching out for in terms of what's happening in Dubai next. So these are some of the points that I would try and cover. But then before I get into speaking about all these things, I just have 2 questions to ask the audience, and I would request you to use the reactions feature of the Zoom functionality and raise your hands in case it's an affirmative or a positive answer. How many of you have visited Dubai? If you could have a quick raise of hand on Zoom. I already see a lot of reactions coming in. That's quite a few. That's quite a few. Now, I'll ask one more question. How many of you have visited Dubai to explore business opportunities or business possibility? That's over a 30% of the audience in less than 10 seconds is what I see has visited Dubai or has explored Dubai or UAE at some point in time for business. So that is where what we see is that Dubai is no unknown territory for businesses in India. Or Dubai and UAE, something which is very well known and a familiar terrain for Indian businesses. So that is where, when I'm bringing perspectives, I'll first speak about some of the experiences that we have had with Indian businesses in terms of their requirements, and then bring in some perspective in terms of how Dubai fits in. So there have been 2 or 3 things that businesses consistently speak about when we engage with them. One is access to network or access to businesses. Second thing is the infrastructure, connectivity, and regulations. So I'll highlight a few points related to these 2 key things that businesses usually reach out to us for. One thing is access to network or access to businesses. I would like to highlight the point that UAE is a country with a population of 9.1 million people, which is about 0.013% of the global population. And if you look at the trade that UAE engages in globally, it is anywhere between 1.5 to 2% of the global exports and 1.5 to 2% of the global imports. So it is over 10 times or over 100 times of the population is what they are contributing in terms of trade. So that speaks of the volume of the trade that UAE engages in. If we speak of Dubai, Dubai saw a trade of USD $322 billion in 2020. And in 2019, the trade numbers were at $373 billion. And it contributes about 30% of the entire GDP. And when we are speaking about trade, we are speaking about international trade. Two things that are very important to international trade is connectivity and networking. If you look at the commercial aircraft connectivity or the commercial airlines and the connectivity of Dubai, within 8 hours of flying distance, we have 2/3 of the world's population that's being covered. And Dubai is amongst the top 3 most visited airport. So just to give you some perspective on that front, Dubai saw 89.1 million passengers coming to the Dubai International Airport in 2019. And 5 out of the 6 people that were visiting Dubai Airport were transiting from Dubai Airport to go to another part of the world. And about 16.1 million tourists visited Dubai in 2019. So that gives us some perspective in terms of how Dubai has established itself as a commercial hub for businesses to not only visit Dubai, but also transit via Dubai to other parts of the world for business, for tourism, and for other purposes. The other thing is, it's not just people visiting. It's also about the volumes of goods that are being transferred via Dubai. So if you look at the Jebel Ali port is amongst the top 10 ports in the world, handling over 20 million TEUs per annum. So that's a very large volume for a very small city of about 3 million people. So in that sense, Dubai is a place where we see people are coming in for networking. It's a city that's being used as a hub or a transit destination for goods, where people are coming and exchanging and having trade. Now, when we speak of Dubai Chamber of Commerce and Industry, the Dubai Chamber of Commerce and Industry is the apex entity or the apex chamber in the Emirate of Dubai, with about 261,000 plus members in the city of, or in the Emirate of Dubai. As we look beyond, we understand that the world has been in a very tough situation for the last, over the last 1 or a little more than 1 year. The businesses have been struggling, but the governments have been extremely proactive. The businesses have been resilient, and people are doing their best to come out of it and see how business continuity is happening. Since December, we have seen the trade shows and networking events resume in Dubai. Some of the large format events that used to happen, be it GITEX or be it Gulf Food, they have been successfully implemented in Dubai, although at a smaller scale. So Dubai is slowly gearing up for Expo 2020 and to safely welcome people from around the world for the Expo 2020 to Dubai. We have seen the work for the Indian Pavilion that's progressing, and the Indian Pavilion is shaping up very well. And we are quite optimistic about the participation from India and encourage businesses to be a part of the Expo 2020 as well. When we are speaking about logistics and connectivity, the Jebel Ali Port or the DP World is working on an initiative called the World Logistics Passport, which is something like an Emirates Skyward Award program, wherein businesses are encouraged to use Dubai as a transit port or a hub for their international logistics, and it is collaborating with ports and governments globally to ensure some benefits could be extended to businesses using Dubai as a port for their logistics. This could be either in time savings, or it could be in saving costs for transportation for businesses that are leveraging Dubai as a port. So that's happening. When we are speaking about the chamber again, the chamber has a network of 11 offices internationally, right from 3 offices in Latin America, which is Panama, Brazil, Argentina, one coming in Mexico soon, to 4 offices in Africa, which is in Ethiopia, Kenya, Mozambique, and Ghana, to 1 in CIS region in Azerbaijan, 1 in India, and 2 in China. And the offices are there on ground to understand and identify business opportunities, to see where Dubai businesses can fit in India, in this case, in our case, and where Indian businesses can actually fit into Dubai's business landscape, where the opportunities arise. So that's the role of the international offices that the Dubai Chamber has, and the office network is open to any business that is a member of Dubai Chamber that has a presence in Dubai, and the intelligence, the information, the network that the offices are developing over a period of time is accessible and open for people to engage with the offices and see how best the offices can support them to not only expand their business into Dubai, but from Dubai expand to global geographies as well. So with this, I would like to thank ICIB again for inviting me to share some tidbits of information about Dubai Chamber and business that's happening between India and Dubai. And I'll be open to Q&As to address any queries, any questions that you might have. We have our office based in Mumbai. We are reachable on india@dubaichamber.com in case anyone has any queries, and we'll be happy to connect and engage with you. Thank you.
Samir, thank you so much for such a detailed description of the activities of Dubai Chamber and situation in Dubai, and how the people from India can take benefits and how the situation has been. And I'm sure that, from your talk, a lot of people would have understood a lot of things, especially like we saw in the poll that you took up. A lot of people are connected to Dubai and UAE in some way or other. So thank you so much once again. I request you to please stay till the question and answer. I'm sure there are a lot of questions. We've been getting a lot of questions, and I would like to give the floor back to His Excellency Abdulla ji for your comments. And after that, we would like to go to the question and answer. And I would like to thank His Excellency Abdulla and His Excellency Ahmad Al-Falahi for being here with us today. So, Your Excellency, it's all yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Samir, for this nice briefing about Dubai Chambers. Actually, we are looking forward always to have those kind of meetings. Looking also to extend my meetings and meet, inshallah, Mr. Manpreet in future, and work more and more with your colleagues. I know the situation now with the pandemic of Corona, which is letting us not meeting face to face, but inshallah, I think in future or soon we will arrange meetings with you and your colleagues to exchange our experience, to talk about our relation about our two countries, and the opportunities for our countries. And this, I'm sure that you have such a good group and colleagues will participate today. I'm so happy with this nice meeting, actually. Thank you again for all the information that been sharing to us. Mr. Al-Falahi, thank you very much. I don't know if Excellency Al-Falahi would add a comment on this. Please, you can, Your Excellency, add your comments also. Thank you very much again.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you, President Manpreet. Well, this was an informative session. I hope for all of us and all of the attendees. Going back to the infrastructure and India's infrastructure drive, which is, one of the main projects and the most important thing of getting businesses to move, as logistics in India adds a lot to the Indian product, which takes away from its price favorability globally and competitiveness. In this sense, the UAE has committed billions of dollars for the infrastructure development in India, be it ports, which we have been there for, more than 20 years, be it the India Infrastructure Fund, which is set up by the government, and the UAE, through various arms, have so far injected over 4 to 5 billion US dollars in that, and more is to come. So, we're pretty familiar with the infrastructure, as well as with the energy and renewable energy in India, in which we have companies that operate hydro dams and distribute the electricity. We have companies that are investing in the solar energy in India, and these numbers run also in the billions of dollars. So, thank you all for being here and listening, and we are here, both the Consul General and ourselves in the embassy. If you have any query regarding, any commercial query, any query regarding investing into the UAE or anything, you may contact the commercial office in the UAE embassy, and we are easily found on Twitter, on the website, as well as if you call the embassy phone number, they will divert you to the commercial office. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Your Excellency. I mean, your kind words are always welcome. And with this, I would now like to hand over to Mrs. Tinku Gupta, who is our Vice President for the East Zone. And she's going to be interacting and have some question and answers with a few of the sectors, especially healthcare, food and beverage and all that. Tinku-ji, I would like you to take over, please.
Yeah, thank you, Manpreet ji. Good evening, good afternoon, everyone. It has been a very wonderful session and very interactive also. Since I'm heading East India and SAARC countries of ICIB, my focus would definitely work on East India mainly because there is a lot of potential here, not to mention about the pan-India presence as well. So from East India, the main things the main sectors that we usually focus on is healthcare, and we are having the food processing, and of course, East India is known for jute industries, and jute industry is one of the industries which is upcoming in the construction as a construction material also. So we have a few eminent sector leaders from East India who had some queries how to collaborate with UAE. So I'll start with healthcare. Healthcare is India is known for its quality healthcare, and one of the upcoming sectors, especially in this area, is a international health village which is coming up in Manipur, and it is headed by Shija Foundation. And I would request Dr. Palin to speak a few words on this project, which is his own project, and he can throw a little light on how he wants to collaborate with UAE. Dr. Palin, if you can kindly unmute yourself. Dr. Palin?
Tinku-ji, you will have to unmute him.
Okay. I'll just unmute him.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. I'm Palin Kundongbam. I am a plastic surgeon basically, and we have started a hospital in Manipur to 350 bedded hospital. We are also treating corona, and we have expanded from a small clinic to a super specialty hospital, and we have the teaching program and postgraduate courses. nursing and paramedics. And also currently the corona, during the pandemic, India has faced acute shortage of doctors, and there was a relaxation for setting up a medical college. So we are working on setting up a medical college this year itself, and construction is going on, and we are expecting the inspection this June 2021. Regarding our plan for this expansion,
Tinkuji, can we move on to the next one, please?
Okay. I think yeah, Dr. Pali.
Yeah, we can take it from him in writing and we can forward it.
Yeah. Okay. So the next one that I would request is Mr. Rahul Gupta. He is basically into jute production, and he is, as you know, 20% of the construction material is used. Jute is being used as 20% of the construction material for construction of roads and highways. So if I can just request Mr. Gupta to speak a few words on his products. Rahul ji?
Is my voice audible?
Yes, yes.
Good afternoon, everyone, and very good afternoon to His Excellency Mr. Abdulla and Mr. Ahmad Al Farahi. I have seen Dubai growing like a flower, means it has grown like anything. And you know, for any growth, you need constructions, you need infrastructure. And you know, jute is a very important material which helps in the infrastructure and construction all over the world. And in Dubai, in this UAE, I have seen that this constructions has boomed up like anything in the coming 5 to 7 years, 10 years. Jute is a biodegradable product which is used for the curing of the construction, for the construction purpose, and it is also used as a net, so that when the workers are working and all the stones or pebbles which are going off, it doesn't go off, and it comes as a barrier and as a thread, so that it may not hit someone, and for the curing purpose also. So East India, basically jute is is cultivated only in West Bengal, in our East India, and it is one of the staple product of our Bengal. And we look very much eager to work in Dubai and to work in UAE, other states, other country, other cities, so that we can also supply them our good quality products for the good construction, and we can have a good trade with each other. Thank you so much, and it was a very nice meeting which we are seeing right now, and it is very educative also for the businessmen like us. And what we have heard from His Excellency Ahmad Al Farahi, it was really worth learning. Thank you so much.
Right. Thank you, Rahul ji. We will with this we will move on to the food processing sector. One of the unique projects which is coming up in Assam, again in East India, is it's a one of its kind edible oil refinery project, and I would request Mr. Kamal Halalka to speak a few words on this. Kamal ji.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes, you are.
Yeah. First of all, my salutations to His Excellencies and all the members present. Ours is a edible oil project. We are basically having a big agriculture linkage. I mean, on full scale production, we shall be having an agriculture linkage with about 1 lakh farmers family. And that will create improvement of 2% agriculture GDP of state of Assam particularly. And so we think that is going to make a sizable dent or to uplift the rural economy of the Assam. because we will be buying mustard seeds. We will be encouraging palm plantations in the fallow land, and rice as a rice, as you know, it is a staple food of India and particularly of East India, and we need rice bran to process it into rice bran oil. So by targeting these three items, basically we can make a change, but for that we require some funds. And as you are aware that due to this corona pandemic and all, which is going for last 1.5 years, so many things have happened, and we are seeking a joint venture or funding for our project for that. So I will summarize my project with that. Thank you.
Thank you, Kamalji.
Can we take somebody from the Western region now, please?
Yes.
Okay. I request Anil Sharma ji to please express his opinion and his plans about expansion into UAE. Anil ji, please unmute yourself.
Hello. Thank you so much for the opportunity, Manpreet ji, and thanks for being presenting in front of such a nice dignitaries from Dubai, UAE sectors as well. His Highness Abdulla ji and Ahmad Al-Fahmi ji. We're really looking forward to grow our business into the UAE market and the other Gulf market, and we're trying to set up our business of royal swords and daggers and very, very unique masterpieces that we produce, and we are the only manufacturer in the world for this. Like nobody else produce it, and they are very, very unique, very beautiful, and one of a kind, and it creates a legacy. So many people, they are interested in creating their legacies or having something very unique, you know. So Dubai has been always in market for such a beautiful products, and most of the people from world also look forward a UAE market to procure these kind of products. If they want something very unique, they always come to Dubai for these kind of things. So we're trying to set up our office and base there, and do the manufacturing of these products there, so that we can cater to world market from there as well as the local market as well. And each of the product we manufacture is come with the label and come with an uniqueness guarantee. So it's like it will never be a duplicate piece or never be a copy piece that is being produced out there. So we're really looking forward that we get an opportunity to set up our office and business out there in UAE as soon as possible. Thank you.
Thank you, Anilji. Thank you so much. With this, I would like to bring in Shri Ashutosh Chauhanji. Ashutosh ji, he is the chairman for international relations for ICIB. Ashutosh ji, your quick comments, please. Please unmute yourself, Ashutosh.
Yes. Am I audible now? Hello, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes. So first of all, Salam Alaikum to His Excellency Abdullah and His Excellency Ahmed Al-Faraji. So, and namaste to all the attendees here. As I represent the International Relations Committee for ICIB, so my question would be for the exchange of investment between company to company, business to business. As you earlier mentioned that yes, UAE government had certain arrangement with the sovereign funds of India. UAE government directly invested in the investment fund of India, which must be NIIF. And apart from that, what we can expect from the companies in the field of infrastructure and construction, firstly, primarily, and secondarily, also we actually, this is not the agenda of today's meeting, but still I would ask that in the banking sector, there is a quite significant gap also, which can be fulfilled with the investors from UAE to India. So what can India expect from UAE in this domain? So this would be my question for two domains like infrastructure, business to business, joint ventures, and banking sector, business to business joint ventures. Would you spread some light, His Excellency?
I will let my colleague Excellency Ahmed Al Falahi to answer.
Can you just
Yes.
repeat that? I could not get it.
See, my question was about two specific sectors. One is infrastructure sector, and second one is banking sector. So, when we talk about the corporate tie-ups and joint ventures between company to company, like companies from UAE and companies from India. So, what Indian companies can expect from as a support from government side to come to UAE and invest there in the field of infrastructure or banking, and vice versa, like companies coming from UAE to invest in India. What support can we expect from the government side?
See, you said at the beginning, assisting companies in joint ventures, UAE companies and Indian companies. Well, both these companies are privately owned, so it's a private decision on who they want to join, how they want to join. As government, if you come and say, "Oh, I've got company A, company B, come join company A," if there's a fallout, us as a government will get the blame because we introduced you. So that is left purely to the market and to the people and to the connections and how well you're connected with other people. You're a businessman and you know that yourself. As for investing into UAE and investing into India, investing into UAE has always been easy compared to the whole region and the protectionism of the markets and ownerships and all of that. As we have had for over 30 years, special economic zones and free zones, we have over 50 special economical zones and free zones in the UAE. And some of them are more than 100 kilometers square. So, and they cover a diverse area from specialized industries, which is in the renewable, for example, in the pharmaceutical, in the construction, in wholesale, or into more general logistical manufacturing, situated next to ports, no customs duty. Your shipment comes from country X. You have 20 containers, but then those 20 containers will go to 40 countries. So you send smaller consignments, some by air, sea to air and sea to sea or air to air. You send some by air, some by sea, depending on how far those countries and how perishable those items are or how important those items are. And you could do all of that without going through a single point of customs check or duty, because the airport and the port are connected under one link, which literally you can get a container from the port into the tarmac of the airport in 15 minutes. Yeah, so now it's even much easier since mainland ownership has been improved. 100% ownership. Abu Dhabi has, for example, each state sets out its guidelines. The UAE as a government, federal government, we operate like India. Federal government and state governments, but the state governments don't go out of the scope of the federal laws and federal government. The federal government has allowed for 100% ownership. And then it's up to the states, the different economic departments of the state. Here we don't have ministries in the states. We have departments in those states. The different economic departments, they see what is more suitable for them and for their community. Well, for example, Abu Dhabi has released over 1,100 activities. Dubai is on the way to releasing even, a list of activities, which is also encompasses a lot of activities and industries. Same with Sharjah, same with Ajman as you're going. So this law is relatively new, so people are going and opening up. When it comes to investment into banks, setting up banks and that, then you go under the criteria of the central bank, just like as you go under RBI in India. You know, the channels are relatively the same. India has really cut down on the red taping in the past few years. UAE is well known for nearly zero red tape, as you may say, or actually you can go just into one building and finish all your requirements. You can set up a company in the UAE in a matter of hours and get your office. So from that side, it's very easy. Into India, in the past 6 years that I've been here, there has been a great difference, great change. States are assisting us with our companies that want to set up offices in various cities and states. Invest India, which is under the Indian government, is also assisting us a lot. So I hope that answers your question.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency. And how soon can we expect a consolidated document as to what is open in which sector for this new visa regime that is coming to force from tomorrow?
Again, I couldn't understand the last thing.
The consolidated document, is there going to be, like you mentioned, that every state will have different activities that will be permissible for the free mainland companies? So is there anything expected anytime soon? Because everybody is waiting.
Number one source for government information these days is Twitter. So type it in Twitter, you will get it. As soon as it's out on Twitter, or Google it and you will get it. You know, just say 100% ownership UAE mainland, just Google it and you will get it. Abu Dhabi has already launched the list of activities. Dubai, I believe, is on its way on launching the list of activities, as well as the other economic department across UAE. And companies have already started actually registering as 100% ownership in mainland.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And I think, like you said, it's truly that is the fastest way to information today, where you say the Google or Twitter for that matter.
Because trust me, just as it's new for you, it's new for us as well.
I understand.
So when we want information, we look into Twitter before we go and check to our offices.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Excellency. It's been a real pleasure to have you with us. And I would like to conclude today's meetings. I would like to thank you, His Excellency Abdulla Al Marzooqi and His Excellency Ahmad Al Falai. Thank you both for being here today. Thank you, Samir Nawani from Dubai Chamber. A big thank you to Husein Singh from Bharat Infra. And thank you all the delegates who have been here with us today. I would like to open the session. In case any questions are there, I request you to please raise your hands so that we can take 2 or 3 questions. Please raise your hand so that we can unmute yourself. Any questions from any of the audience? I think Your Excellencies have clarified everything pretty well. So not.
Can I add something? Yeah. Good afternoon, His Excellencies and Mr. Manpreet. Myself, Sandeep Budrani, currently in India, and I have been fortunate to be in UAE since 1992. So I was staying in Karama, and you could drive down and see Jablali. I'm from Jablali. You could see the trade center, and now you cannot even see half a kilometer away. You have so many buildings, towers, and it's totally changed. And I would just confirm and validate whatever His Excellency Al Falahi and Abdulla Al Marzooqi has mentioned. And I have been delighted to be in this session, which has been very, very informative. And I have myself given presentation opportunities for Indian exporters. And I hope to do that similarly for India also. And keep up your good work, sirs. Thanks a lot again.
Thank you, Sandeep. Thank you so much. Anyone else? One last question.
Actually, we got the best information source of getting all the answers from Twitter. So I think most of the questions sorted out there. Thank you so much for that wonderful link.
I cannot hear nothing actually.
I think there we have two hands. One is Mr. Kamal Shukla and Mr. Mishra. Just a second. With these last two questions, and then we'll come. I hope it is okay, excellent.
Yeah, hopefully it will be the last two because I already have another appointment. Yes. I'm already late 5 minutes, so.
We are sorry. We are sorry. Okay, let us conclude. Then we will collect all the questions and we'll forward to your office.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I really thank both your excellencies and the Embassy of UAE and the Consulate of UAE in Mumbai. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure to have you with us.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Manpreet. Thank you so much, Mr. Samir. Everybody, I really enjoyed the session. Thank you so much, everybody. Excellency Al Falahi. Thank you so much for your presentation. Looking forward to meet with you, Mr. Manpreet, and your colleagues again in future. Our website and Consulate, you already have our contacts, so you can contact us whenever, and hopefully we'll answer you and we'll meet with you soon. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We're ending the session.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you.